Movies. If a movie is really enjoyable, I find it difficult not to write at least a paragraph about it. The reason I do individual movie reviews is to champion movies. I obviously post stuff and I say these are reviews, but I'm not even sure what I do is specifically reviews, because I do avoid ratings, being overtly negative about movies. I cannot completely exclude that, but I try and concentrate on the pros, on the positive side of things. And I've been trying to work out what is it that draws me to this genre of movie talk, and I had to immediately think about when I was a little kid and just being sort of plugged into the matrix of the world around me. I think I discovered movies as a kind of great tool for learning about the strange and fascinating world of adults, because the kind of answers I was getting at school and from adults in my life were kind of dry, and they insisted that the world was a very straightforward and predictable system, which at the same time my senses and my own empirical evidence as a kid was I found that a contradiction of the stuff I was being taught about the world and the way I experienced the world firsthand. There was a massive clash there, and I think cinema was for me a great revelation, because this is where for the first time I discovered this sensation that there is stuff where you cannot just be in one mind about it. You cannot be 100% sure about certain things, and this, I think, the great thing about cinema in general, in that it allows within the same story or within the same movie more than one viewpoint. And the better the movie, the more viewpoints are going to be allowed on a certain problem, a certain subject. You could stick with one protagonist, or there could be multiple protagonists, and the story could be playing out from switching from their perspectives. Or you could have like a central conflict in the story, and there could be a resolution where you have been given an answer to the problem that the movie starts out with, or it could be more of an open. And so the best movies offer this kind of uncensored experience, which normal, living a sheltered life in an average family, a kid, you just weren't exposed to any of that. So it was really fascinating being able to vicariously live situations which, society was kind of shielding you from as a minor, and at the same time trying to understand how is it that cinema makes you feel something. There is video games where it keeps you glued to your controls, and you can spend 8 hours gaming and stuff, but it doesn't necessarily, I think, unleash this kind of torrent of also emotional kind of experiences which a good movie does, or a book or a song, whatever. What the movies offer is, I think, a great variety of kind of emotions. You can have like comedy movies or documentaries, and they can just offer very different shades of experiences. And at the same time, at the end of the movie, it could prompt you to actually use your mind and reflect. And I think in that sense, movies have been my school much more than the actual school I went to, or than the life experience, the limited experiences as a kid. And as life went on and I was growing up, obviously I got to have a bit more of my own life and sort of go out of the cocooned family environment and stuff, and see a bit of life for myself. But by then I already had that kind of movie prism over my eyes, so a lot of my I guess early also notions about life have been formed by movie-going experiences and movie-watching experiences, and the kind of narrative that was dominant in the sort of movies I've been exposed to. So movies have been a huge tool for integration into the world and forming attitudes also towards stuff that you found as a younger person intimidating or just plain scary or stuff you didn't know about. And understanding the mechanism of cinema. How is it possible that movies make you feel certain things? How is it that a sequence of pictures and sounds actually unleashes something inside you? This is where I think reviews have been such a useful outlet, because it's not just not having somebody to chat with about the movie experience you've just had. That's half the problem. It's about being able to come to terms yourself with what the movie experience gave you or unleashed within you. This is where I think the review medium is so amazing, and you cannot replace that. And I think this is why I still like uploading movie-related videos, where I think I would have stopped watching movies a long time ago had this experience slowed down or stopped being so stimulating. The amazing thing is the same movies I've seen decades ago still appeal to me, but sometimes from a different angle. Nowadays I appreciate many films which used to bore me to tears, or the subject matters which I would have avoided like hell, let's say 15 years ago. And now the same movies may be more enjoyable, more interesting to me, because now I'm more into the actual filmmaking techniques employed, so that I kind of try and relive what the filmmakers were going through putting those films together, because I think every movie has within it the matrix kind of embedded of the filmmaking situation. I find it very interesting to watch how, like, if you take some kind of a classic tale, like, I don't know, let's say Dracula or Titanic, and how movies of different eras with different budgets treated depending on the kind of social environment the movie was conceived within. You can have like a Japanese Dracula film, or you could have a British Dracula film, and it is the same story, but at the same time, you know, they're like there is a chasm between them. A review is I think is a way of trying to make peace maybe with certain questions that a movie can actually ask you. Some of the greatest movies have this way of putting you on the spot and making you also realize things about yourself you've been trying not to face. And those movies obviously few and far between, but there is also this great anesthetic quality, and this is where a lot of more psychotronic and trashy movies can be so good, is that when the life isn't amazing, when jobs are scarce, or when people are being horrible to you at work, and you don't necessarily have the moral support back home, and you don't necessarily have a shoulder to cry on back home, this is where a movie can be better than going down to the bar. You know, a movie can actually be a great stress relief, and especially a crazy movie can whisk you away from the mundane things and the daily rituals of humiliation and stuff that a lot of us have to put up with. And a movie can be this cleansing, really. I mean, in some ways it's like a cult, you know. It's somewhere you go to because it offers like a sanctuary and an escape from your own problems, from your own maybe even phobias and narrow-mindedness, and at the same time from the restrictive norms. For that 90 minutes or 2 hours, you can escape that and spend time, you know, slaying demons, or you know, being yourself a demon. And this is where I still haven't found with, you know, with the video games and whatever other forms of entertainment there are, I just haven't been able to find anything more magical than the cinema. To this day, if a movie is really enjoyable, I find it difficult not to write at least a paragraph about it. I may not share it, I may not post it anywhere, but I think a good movie is one thing, but a movie that provokes a reaction in you is something else. And this is the kind of cinema I cover on this channel. I do not claim that the movies I've been busying myself with over the past 12 plus months, that these are the best movies in the world, but those are the kind of movies that provoke a response from within me enough for me to wag the camera on and talk to the camera and, you know, interact with you within the comments, because there is a whole layer of cinema which may not be the most commercial, may not be the most original or even the greatest, but it's a lot more stimulating and inspiring than some of the sanctioned good movies out there, I find.